There are going to be some times in your life that you're going to have to make some hard choices. You know, you may have to leave some people behind or even hurt some people to do it. We grew up believing that if we're good enough, loyal enough, patient enough, everybody we know and love is going to walk the same road with us. Life doesn't work that way. Sometimes the path to your future looks like betrayal to the people around you, and that can hurt. Most of us don't want to leave anybody behind. We want everybody we know to win. We want everybody to come with us. And reality is, one day you're going to stand at a crossroads, and the decision you make there is going to define the rest of your life. You may have to walk away from some friendships or maybe even leave some relationships behind. Um, you're probably going to disappoint some people, and some people are going to call you selfish for it. Nobody ever talks enough about the price of moving forward, the price of becoming who you're supposed to be. Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants a better life and the freedom that comes with that, but nobody wants to pay the price it takes to get there. And make no mistake, it does cost. That's why so many people stay where they are, not because they're incapable, but because they're afraid of what they might have to give up to get there, or maybe lose to get there. And I get it. There were times in my own life where I knew what I needed to do, but I hesitated because I didn't want to hurt the people around me. I didn't want to disappoint anybody. But eventually I realized something. If you spend your whole life living for everybody else, you'll wake up one day and realize you never really lived at all. Sometimes doing what's necessary hurts. Sometimes the right decision feels like the wrong decision while you're making it. Sometimes life can be lonely. You may sit in your car at night and question everything. Did I make the right choices? Wondering, why does this life have to be so painful? How you never really wanted to hurt anybody. You just want a better life. I mean, everybody isn't going where you are. And that's one of the hardest lessons that being an adult is going to teach you. That's just reality. And you have to decide, what do you really want out of this life? Because you can't have everything. And no matter where you're going, every path is going to cost something. If you refuse to take risks, you're going to lose the opportunities to come with it. There's always a price. And the older I get, the more I realize life is really more about deciding what you're willing to pay to move forward. And even staying the same has a cost. People think avoiding decisions will protect them. It won't. Avoiding decisions are usually create harder lives. 10 years from now, you don't still want to be miserable in the same place you're at. If you avoid taking chances, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering what might have been. Don't lose yourself trying to keep everybody around you happy. We live in a great country and you actually have a chance, a real chance. That doesn't mean your life is going to be easy. It won't. But at the end of the day, you still have the ability to fight for something better. You can start over. You can rebuild. You can fail and get back up. You can take chances. You can create a life that nobody thought you were capable of doing. That opportunity exists. But once you realize what's actually possible, you can't keep hiding behind your excuses. At some point, you have to decide whether you truly want the life you keep thinking about. And if you do, what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? Because the reality is, dreams without sacrifice is a fantasy. If you're watching this right now, I want you to understand something. You're allowed to choose a better life, a better future. And you're allowed to outgrow your current life that no longer fits who you're becoming. You're allowed to walk away from things that are destroying you. And yes, some people won't understand. Some people may even feel hurt. Some people may walk away from you completely, but you cannot sacrifice your future trying to avoid disappointing people. You only get one life, just one. And time moves faster than you think. One day you're going to look up and decades will have gone by. So if there's something calling you, something telling you there's more out there for you, then don't ignore it. You need to take that chance. Bet on yourself. Accept the cost. Because every meaningful life requires some sacrifice. And the life you want is probably sitting just on the other side of some decision you're scared to make. So make it, even if people don't understand, even if moving forward feels difficult. Just keep moving forward. I'm just saying.